Hello everyone, I'm Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to make a little pouch to keep your Kleenex in. You just get some of these little Kleenex packages. They're great for sending with your kids to school. You can add a little clip so you can hook it on your purse or backpack or luggage, and you've got your Kleenex with you and a great little pouch to carry it in. Now this is a free crochet pattern on my blog, and you can find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. The tissue pouch measures about 5 inches long and about 3 inches across, so it fits most of your standard size little Kleenex packages. What you're going to need to make one is some cotton yarn, or you can use acrylic. I just prefer cotton for this project, and you can just use your scraps. It takes very little. And this is, I love this cotton from Hobby Lobby in a really pretty like teal variegated, and I just happen to have that on hand. We're going to be stitching with our H hook, and the H hook is a 5.00 millimeter crochet hook. You're going to need a needle for weaving in your ends, and then you'll also need your scissors. To get started, we're going to begin with a slip knot. And then we're going to chain 15 chains. Now make sure this initial chain isn't stitched too tightly, because if it is, it'll cause one end to pucker. We're going to be stitching rows of single crochet to make a long rectangle for the body of our tissue pouch. We're going to begin stitching a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. We don't count the loop on our crochet hook. There's our first one, here's our second. So we'll go in that second chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both of those loops. That's our single crochet. And now we're going to place one single crochet in each of the chains across. And we're going to have 14 single crochets because we started in the second chain from the hook. We chained 15, we started in the second chain, and we're stitching one single crochet in each chain across, which will give us 14 single crochets. Alright, there's my last single crochet, chain one, and turn. We stitched our chain one, and now we're going to stitch right in that first single crochet. Our chain one does not count as a stitch. And so we're going to stitch a single crochet in each of the 14 single crochets across. That one was a little bit loose. There we go. I'm finding this, I love this yarn cotton, to be a little bit more slick than any of the other cottons that I've used. All right, so now I'm in my last chain, or my last single crochet, chain one, and turn. So there's my second row of single crochet. We stitched our second row of single crochet, we chained one and turn. And now we're going to repeat what we did for this row, stitching one single crochet in each single crochet across for the next 22 rows, or a total of 24 rows of one single crochet in each single crochet across, chain one and turn. And that's the body of our tissue pouch. We're making a rectangle that we're going to fold into the shape. We're going to fold it into the shape that we need for our tissue pouch. So one single crochet in each stitch across, chain one, turn till we reach row 24. And remember, each row will have 14 single crochets. I have stitched 24 rows of single crochet, stitching 14 single crochets on each row to form my rectangle. And what we're going to do now is we're going to stitch single crochets all the way around for a nice trim on all four sides, and we'll be stitching 2 single crochets in each of the corners. So we're going to begin with this corner, and we're going to stitch 2 single crochets. And by putting the 2 single crochets in the corner, you get a nice, neat appearance, and it moves around the corner nicely. All right, so now we're going to stitch single crochets down the first side. And what I try to do is put 1 single crochet in the end of each row. And if I can get my single crochet in the stitch on that row, I try to do that. If I can't, it's okay, but I just try to, just because it gives it a much neater appearance. And there is no set amount of single crochets for the side. You just put them in there nice and neat. Try not to bunch them and try not to get them too far apart. So I'm just going to work down this first side, stitching a row of even single crochets. I completed this first side stitching single crochets evenly down, and now I'm to the corner. And in this first stitch, I'm going to stitch 2 single crochets. And as I said before, it just makes it move around the corner nice and neatly. And this is where we began our chain, and so what I'm going to do is just stitch 1 single crochet in each of those chains. There we go. And see how that eased around that corner really nice and neat. All right, so I'm going to continue working across here. I'm going to put 2 single crochets in the corner and then work up this side. That string out of the way. That string wants to give me trouble. All right, so I'm to this next corner. I'm stitching 2 single crochets, and then I'm going to move straight down this side like I did on this other side, trying to stitch 1 single crochet in the end of each stitch. And trying to work in the stitches, not the holes where I can. Alright, so I've stitched the 3 sides. I'm on my last corner. I'm going to stitch 2 single crochets in this last corner. There we go. And now I'm just going to stitch 1 stitch in each stitch across. And then we'll join and tie off. Alright, I'm in that last stitch. I'm going to join to the first single crochet with a slip stitch. Oops. Cut my yarn and tie off, and we'll just come through here and pull that to the inside or the back. That looks nice and neat. I'm going to take a couple minutes and weave these ends in, and then I'm going to show you how to take your rectangle and form it into that tissue pouch. Alright, I've got all my ends weaved in, and what we're going to do is fold those in and make sure they're even. Give it a good look-see. You can count your rows if you want to. Now you can pin this in place. If it makes you feel more comfortable, you can take a couple of needles or pins and just pin that in place. I never do. I'm fine with just eyeballing it, making sure it's nice and even. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our hook through the first stitches on the end, grab our yarn back in, pull that through, and now we're going to slip stitch across, and we're basically sewing our pieces together with slip stitches. So we'll go in the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull that loop through the loop that's on our hook, and we'll do this across. And you don't have to pull it real tight, just make sure it's going to stay put. There we go. Let's see, I think that's one too many. There we go. Alright, now let's take the other side, line that up, and we'll go through the first stitch on this side. That one I do give it a little snug pull because I want that to stay down. And then we slip stitch across, going through both thicknesses on this side. Alright, and that's how you sew the end together. Now what you can do on the end of this one is chain 12, or if you think that loop is too big, you can always make it smaller. And we'll just go right back in there and attach that end with a slip stitch and tie that off. And that's your loop for hanging it up. And then of course we'll use our needle and weave that in. And then you just turn it over and you do the same thing on this side minus the little loop. You don't put the little loop in on this side. Alright, so we just go in those first 2 stitches again, join our yarn in, make sure everything's lined up nice and neat, and make those slip stitches. String out of the way. All right. Alrighty. And just continue slip stitching across like we did on the other side. There we go. And tie off. And the only thing we have left to do is if we want to add a hook, we can. Like I did on this pink one, we have a little hook, or not. We just need to take our needle and weave in these ends. And what I do is I'll go like this, and I'll turn it over, and then weave them into the inside, going through stitches and fibers of the yarn until I'm happy that it's going to stay put and not come out. And I'll need to do this on all 4 sides. So there's our little tissue pouch. Perfect size for those little tissues, and you can even take regular tissues from a box and fold them up and stick them inside just so you'll have some with you.